Hi everyone! Today I'll be talking about how food and nutrition can help manage lupus symptoms and inflammation. Lupus, also known as systemic lupus erythematosus, is a condition where the immune system attacks healthy tissues, causing inflammation, pain, and other symptoms. We have a lot of different medications that can be used, and some can be life-changing. But sometimes even with those, people can still have symptoms. While medication is extremely important, what we eat can also make a difference. Let's talk about diet. There is no one-size-fits-all in lupus. Different diets may help different people. More of the recent research, though, is with the Mediterranean diet. Let's talk about that first. This diet is known for reducing inflammation and oxidative stress, both of which are common in lupus. Studies show that whether it is the omega-3s or other nutrients, it may help lower lupus symptoms and also protect your heart, which is important because lupus increases the risk of heart disease. So if there is a diet in lupus that helps with heart healthiness, it's a win-win. What you should know: omega-3 fatty acids may decrease lupus activity, however, randomized controlled trials have been small and they have conflicting findings. A 2020 meta-analysis suggests that omega-3 fatty acids could provide therapeutic benefit in addition to usual medication regimens used for SLE. Okay, so what should you eat in a Mediterranean diet? Focus on colorful fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats like olive oil. Minimize processed foods and red meat. It's like eating for longevity, because having lupus doesn't keep you from having other common problems. Go ahead. Take a mini vacation, but through your plate. The best part? You don't even need a passport. Just pick up some olive oil, tomatoes, and whole grains, and boom, you've got your Mediterranean getaway at home. Next, let's talk about the anti-inflammatory diet. Wait, isn't that the same as the Mediterranean diet? Well, there is a lot in common, but there are some key differences. The anti-inflammatory diet aims to reduce chronic inflammation, which is linked to many diseases, including autoimmune conditions, heart disease, and cancer. So it's kind of a broader, more flexible concept than the Mediterranean diet, which is considered a type of anti-inflammatory diet. Also, the Mediterranean diet has specific cultural roots, with a focus on foods typical of the Mediterranean region. The anti-inflammatory diet is more of a general framework that includes various food groups shown to reduce inflammation. While both diets emphasize healthy fats, the Mediterranean diet focuses heavily on olive oil, while the anti-inflammatory diet includes a broader range of healthy fats, especially emphasizing omega-3 fatty acids, and it can be from fish or plant sources. Another difference is the restrictions. The anti-inflammatory diet might more explicitly limit or avoid certain foods known to cause inflammation, like sugar, refined carbs, or processed meats, whereas the Mediterranean diet allows for moderate consumption of these foods but focuses more on balance and tradition. One trick when you are trying out the anti-inflammatory diet is to make every meal as colorful as possible, kind of like a plate of rainbows. It's a fun way to ensure you're getting a variety of nutrients. And hey, if your kids ask why you're eating purple cabbage or orange bell peppers, just tell them you're winning the Rainbow Plate Challenge. Way more fun than plain old veggies, right? What about the gut and the gut microbiome? There has been a new focus on how gut health may play a role in autoimmune diseases like lupus. Diets high in fiber, like the Mediterranean and anti-inflammatory diets, promote a healthy gut microbiome, which may help in reducing lupus-related inflammation. Eat some fiber. Have you heard about the ketogenic diet? The ketogenic keto diet is a low-carb, high-fat diet that shifts the body into ketosis, burning fat for fuel instead of carbohydrates. There is emerging research suggesting that the keto diet may reduce inflammation by regulating immune function, though this is still an area being actively researched for lupus. This was based on a study from 2020, but it was an animal study. It suggested that the ketogenic diet reduced inflammatory markers in lupus-like diseases, though human studies are limited and the diet can be restrictive. What exactly is part of the keto diet? This diet involves eating high-fat foods like avocado, olive oil, and fatty fish, while cutting out most carbs, including grains and sugars. However, we need more research, especially in humans, before saying this is the best diet for lupus. The ketogenic diet is one of those diets that makes me think, is it really okay to eat all that fat? But it turns out for some people, it helps reduce inflammation. Okay, wait. This doesn't mean eat all the bacon you want guilt-free. If you're trying it out, make sure those fats are coming from healthy sources like avocados and nuts, not just from your favorite breakfast foods. A plant-based diet is what it sounds like. It's rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds, while minimizing or eliminating animal products. Why it matters. This diet is high in antioxidants and fiber, both of which are important for reducing inflammation and supporting gut health, which can benefit lupus patients. A 2022 study found that plant-based diets improved inflammation markers in lupus patients and may reduce cardiovascular risk, which we already talked about was a major concern in lupus. What to do? Focus on whole plant-based foods. If you're not fully ready to eliminate animal products, try plant-forward meals where most of your plate is filled with plants. And you may have noticed, yes, this page is called Plant Forward. Most of us can probably eat a little better. Just do the best you can. Okay, what about a gluten-free diet? Some lupus patients may have gluten sensitivity or co-occurring celiac disease. While a gluten-free diet isn't necessary for all lupus patients, those who are sensitive to gluten may see an improvement in symptoms by eliminating it. Some studies are saying a little over 10% of people may have something called non-celiac gluten sensitivity. Gluten can trigger inflammation in sensitive individuals, so a gluten-free diet may reduce joint pain and fatigue for those affected. A small study in 2017 showed that lupus patients with gluten sensitivity reported reduced fatigue and joint pain on a gluten-free diet. Fortunately, it is easy to try out on your own if you think you have it. You can try eliminating gluten-containing grains like wheat, barley, and rye to see if your symptoms improve. Gluten-free diets have become pretty popular lately, and while it's not a cure-all for some people with lupus, cutting out gluten really does make a difference. It's like trying out a new trend, except this one won't disappear as quickly as fidget spinners did a few years ago. Just make sure if you're going gluten-free, you're still getting lots of fiber from gluten-free whole grains like quinoa or buckwheat. Okay, let's talk about one more diet. The low glycemic index diet, which is also known as the GI diet. A low glycemic index diet focuses on eating foods that have a minimal impact on blood sugar levels, like whole grains, legumes, and non-starchy vegetables. Why do researchers think this could help? High blood sugar levels can worsen inflammation. A low GI diet can help stabilize blood sugar and may reduce inflammation in lupus patients. A 2022 study found that lupus patients who followed a low GI diet experienced improvements in inflammation and energy levels. Of course, it was a small study that needs to be repeated with larger human studies, but if you wanted to try it, focus on whole grains, legumes, and vegetables with a low glycemic index, like carrots, celery, zucchini, while avoiding foods high in sugar and refined carbs. One of my patients used to call her midday chocolate bar her pick-me-up until she found out it was actually the cause of those midday crashes. But it's not necessarily the chocolate. A small amount may be fine. It was all the other stuff in the candy bar? That's when she switched to a low glycemic index diet. Now she says she feels like a whole new person, not constantly chasing a sugar high. It's amazing how something as simple as swapping out refined carbs for whole grains can make such a big difference. Are you noticing some similarities in these diets? You aren't imagining it. There is definite overlap. And of course, if certain foods help not only lupus but other conditions, that's even better. Because people with lupus are living longer, so we need to think about heart healthiness, stroke risks, cancer risk, lowering inflammation, and supporting overall health. I'm excited to review and share the evidence as it comes out on how food can affect lupus. So whether the best diet for you is anti-inflammatory, plant-based, gluten-free, ketogenic, and maybe low glycemic index diets, keep in mind that the most important takeaway with diet and lupus is that personalized approaches are key. and that food can influence how you feel. What works for one person may not be suitable for another. Join us next time at Plant Forward MD for more on lifestyle medicine and how it can impact different aspects of our health.